Good morning, this is Dr. Jones with Heidelberg University's Taskstream video number 3, how to create a simple lesson plan, rubric, and Taskstream. So the first thing we want to do is we want to go to Taskstream and log in. And I'm going to pull up a lesson that I've already started because you do have to have a few things done before you can do a rubric. So I'm going to go to Lesson Builder, and I'm going to pull up a lesson that I've already started. This is the characteristics of living and non-living things through investigation. So a couple things that you'll see on here. First, I have my standards on here because you have to have standards before you can have learning objectives. I have two standards here. I have a language arts standard right here. Notice how much you have to drill down before you can actually get to the standard. And then this is from Common Core, Language Arts Common Core. And then my other standard is from Next Generation Science Standards. This is a Middle School Life Science 1 standard. Conduct an investigation to provide evidence that living things are made of cells, either one cell or many different cells, and the types of cells. So after that, then I'm going to look at my objectives. I have 3 objectives here for students. And if you click on this box, it will give you the directions to the learning objectives. Student learning outcomes to be achieved by the end of the lesson written in observable, measurable statements. And they begin with, the student will be able to, then they are from the teacher's perspective. So I already have these written out here. The students will be able to identify characteristics of living things, identify characteristics of non-living things, and compare and contrast animal and plant cells. You have to have your standards in and your learning objectives before you can then do your rubric. So you'll go to Lessons, Units, and Rubrics. You'll click onto Rubric Wizard. You'll click New Blank Rubric. There are some there that you can upload, but they are usually, they're very detailed, and I'm showing you how to create a very simple one. So the first thing you have to have is a rubric title, and we're going to call this Characteristics of Living and Non-Living. And we're going to set it for 3 columns, and I'll show you why in a minute, and then create rubric. So when you come down here, you have criteria here. What you're going to do is you're going to move your learning objectives into your rubric as the criteria. Now this is very simple. Again, there's nothing detailed about this. It is just a way of learning how and why we have rubrics. So the first one here, we're going to make this criteria just like our learning objective, our first learning objective, which was characteristics of living things. Then to go to the next one, we have to have something in there, and then we have to click this add a row, and it will automatically save it for us. So then we go down, and our next one we're going to add in. So what I've done is I've continued on the next criteria. I've added in characteristics of non-living things, and then finally the last criteria on my learning objective is the comparing and contrasting plant and animal cells. Then what you do is you fill in the boxes. I always think of these as 0 being a student who is not really participating in class, 1 is your average student, and 2 is your exceptional student. So here I have a completed rubric. The top part is student cannot identify any characteristic of living things. Student can identify 1 characteristic of living things, and student can identify at least 2 characteristics of living things, so on and so forth. The middle is pretty much the same as the top part, except it's about non-living things. And then at the very bottom, I have that student cannot compare and contrast animal and plant cells. Student can identify only 1 similarity and or difference between animal and plant cells. And then finally, they can do more than 1. And then you simply save it, and it will be there for you to upload when appropriate, when you need to upload a rubric, when the lesson plan asks for one. Thank you very much.